Got a great topic for you guys today, and in this video, we're going to be talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown because a former player named him as the most underrated player at wide receiver in the NFL. We're going to go through and see if this is justified. But before we get into today's video, if you're not a subscriber, subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get to 4,000 subscribers. With your help, it can happen. Let's go ahead and get into this bad boy. Former player of the NFL, one of the better wide receivers that play the game, good with the Patriots, good with Tom Brady, was asked by Twitterverse, about this question. Who is your most underrated wide receiver in the league today? Julian Edelman responds with Amon-Ra St. Brown. First off, I agree. That will be the topic of the conversation. Is Amon-Ra St. Brown the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL? Is Julian Edelman, former wide receiver, really good one for sure out of the Patriots, great career, is he correct? Is the praise of Amon-Ra St. Brown not getting enough in the NFL, in the league, throughout? Is this guy in St. Brown a player who should be talked about more in the NFL? All around, not just by a Detroit Lions fan standards, not by what we're talking about, because we do got a lot of additions to this team. Sometimes he gets left out. But throughout the NFL, is that the case? Well, that's going to be the question right now. Let me know in the comment section. Do you think he's the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL? Why for yes and for no? Let me know in the comment section. And we're going to go ahead and look at it. Let's go ahead and look at Amon-Ra St. Brown last year. Now, a lot of us know about what he did last year via stats. He started off slow. No doubt about it. It wasn't looking good. But all of a sudden, it picked up. It really did. That Minnesota game started to really show what the Lions got there. We're talking about 86 yards, 73 yards, 90 yards, 91, 111, 109, touchdown, 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 and touchdown. He was becoming a big piece to Jared Goff and this offense. And if you don't know, or if you don't remember, it also helped that Josh Reynolds came into the picture and helped the Detroit Lions have another weapon for Jared Goff, ultimately opening it up for the Sun God to make a play. I don't know about you guys, if you were at training camp. I do not know. But I can tell you right now, I was at training camp, and there was one player that stood out to me above the rest in a big way, a monster way. That was Amon-Ra St. Brown. Anytime there was a big play taking place, he was the one getting the football. He was crushing it. He was killing it. Anytime the ball kept moving, you seen 14 on the field getting it done. I was impressed all week watching what he was doing to this defense. Amon-Ra St. Brown's game was great last year, especially, about 3/4 of the way. However, he has turned it up a notch from what I've seen in training camp. This guy is really taking his job and what he's going to bring on the offense to the next level. You haven't really seen it a whole lot in preseason. Why? Because a lot of the starters really haven't spent a lot of time playing in the game. But I could tell you right now, Jared Goff's going to be targeting the Sun God like hell this season. He is very underrated, and I agree with Julian Edelman here that he is the most underrated wide receiver in the NFL. This guy's a stud. He's a star. He's a guy that his game, his route tree is excellent. His ability to find the hole on defense is outstanding. Very good yak, yards after the catch. Great hands. Catches the football every time it's there. He's absolutely stunning. And in the big play, the moment you need a wide receiver to make a play, he's great in the clutch. We've seen it win versus Minnesota Vikings. That's what he does. Third down, Jared Goff throws him the football. He makes the play. We hear about wide receivers in the NFL. You hear about Chase. You hear about Devontae Adams. You hear about all these wide receivers, and even like a Kyle Pitts tight end. They talk about him. They talk about players to make plays, but the conversation about Amon-Ra St. Brown seems to be non-existent regarding the NFL. Now, we know what he can do here in Detroit. We've seen it. But even a little bit here, he's gone underrated. We talk about DJ Chark. We talk about what he's going to bring to the table. Obviously, Jameson Williams, when he's healthy, he's going to make a big difference. But Amon-Ra St. Brown is sitting there and says, hey, guys, I'm right here. I ain't going anywhere. I'm here to take this team to that next level. And for me personally, when I look at 2022 and what he's going to do this year, I understand we have a ton of weapons and the ball is going to get around. But from what I saw in training camp, Jared Goff's thrown his way quite a bit. And he's taken advantage of every single ball that comes his way. He's going to have a major impact on the 2022 NFL season. Would not shock me. 1,200, 1,300 yards receiving, even with all the weapons that we have in Detroit. With having Williams, with having Chark, with having Josh Reynolds. Even if you look at TJ Hockenson and Swift, would not shock me if he does that. Wouldn't shock me if he made the Pro Bowl this year as a starter, not an alternate, but a starter. This guy has the tools. We've seen it in Hard Knocks. He has the mental capacity. He has the drive and the work ethic, exactly what you need. And he is a fighter and a dog. If you've been at training camp, he's a feisty SOB. He takes it to his defender. Whoever is covering him, he loves to scrap. He loves to fight. He's a gritty young man. This guy is a baller. Let me know in the comment section. Do you think he makes the Pro Bowl this year? Why for yes and for no? I'm gonna go ahead and jump and say why he makes the Pro Bowl. That is what I believe, my personal opinion on it. The Sun God is a freaking G. We talk about underrated. We talk about undervalued. We talk about players that should not get the attention. Now, if you remember, now I'm not saying at all, by the way, that Calvin Johnson is, or Amon-Ra St. Brown's Calvin Johnson. But before 2011, a lot of people talked about wide receivers, and they didn't mention Calvin Johnson. They had that breakout year. Now, Amon-Ra is nothing like Calvin Johnson. Different body type, shape, everything is different. But the lack of talking about Amon-Ra St. Brown is kind of identical to that season in 2011 before it happened. Hell, Calvin Johnson on some lists wasn't even top 5. He ends up being Megatron that year and really devours folks. Really blows up. And it shocked some people. Didn't shock us fans because we seen his work ethic. We seen what he took on offense. We seen his style, body type. We seen that Stafford threw him the football pretty much whenever. Jared Goff is going to be throwing the football a lot to Amon-Ra St. Brown. He is that safety blanket, no doubt. St. Brown is a different build. He's smaller, but he's feisty. He does remind you of a Golden Tate. He reminds you of a dog that loves to eat. He's going to eat this year. Julian Edelman is right on this as a wide receiver who's underrated. Is not talked about the most. Amon-Ra St. Brown is going to bring the pain to defenses this year. Like I stated before, if you're not in my fantasy league, you need to look at Amon-Ra St. Brown, getting him on your fantasy team because he's going to blow up points. And it's not just yards. You've seen the stats. He's getting touchdowns. Touchdowns mean a lot. He literally, in the last 7 games, he had a touchdown besides 1. That's out freaking standing. And now we have St. Brown, for all 17 games is going to show up. This guy is going to be a difference maker with yards and getting points for this offense. And Ben Johnson is specifically scheming for Amon-Ra St. Brown to get some big plays. You see it. You watch it. You see what this guy can do. So let's talk about St. Brown a little bit more. In Detroit circles and the NFL teams and defenses, they're going to find out the hard way that St. Brown's no joke. Now, I'm sure opposing teams like the Eagles, like the Commanders, they're not like the media. Who's this guy? I guarantee you they know who he is, and they're going to try to have a game plan to lock up Amon-Ra St. Brown. I don't know if it's going to work. Probably not, because there is a ton of weapons, and that's why he wanted the Lions to get more wide receivers on this football team. He talked about it when the season was done. We need to get wide receivers. Why? Because he knows he will get single matched. He knows he can be a mismatch. And what he did by being one of the main guys was amazing. Now imagine defenses, they have to, if they have to throw Chark's way. When Williams gets on the field, they're going to have to put protection his way. And St. Brown just sitting there, feed me, baby. I'm going to get these yards, and there's not a lot you can do to stop me. And he should be on the top 100 list by the end of this year. You're going to see him on there. You're going to see him really start to make a name for himself regarding Pro Bowl. And he's going to be another wide receiver, a Detroit Lions great, in which I don't know what it is about wide receivers, but you come to Detroit, you end up being a pretty good one. We have a lot of legendary wide receivers on this on this football team throughout the years, and we can just develop wide receivers. It is what it is. We develop wide receivers. So I loved it from Julian Edelman there. I love the praise from a former player, and I like it that St. Brown's getting talked about. Well deserving for him. But it's proofs in the pudding this season. We're dropping videos every day. Post-game show from Lions and Steelers Sunday. Whenever the game is over, expect about 20 minutes after the game is over, we'll be live, talk about the football game, and give you the thoughts on it. With that said, folks, adios.
Perfect.